But what was it? Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're going to build settlements and housing developments over in fucking Gaza. You know, this is what seems like the unstoppable force there, unless like, there's real uh, real opposition from some of these other countries and allies of the U.S. Uh, I think that's what's going to happen. Jared Kushner is has interests in uh, real estate that are planning to build some of these developments. So certainly, if Trump wins the election, I would say that's definitely going through. And I don't see Biden. Even if it's like, okay, finally we get to like, okay, yeah, Israel, you got to stop. Like, let's fucking chill. And Biden actually stops weapon sales or gets Israel in some way to stop. I don't see Biden like fighting too hard against these settlements. They did the most bullshit, like not, half-hearted thing recently with not even half-hearted. It was like quarter-hearted, eighth-hearted, where they sanctioned like four illegal settlers in the West Bank, which is hilarious. And then they dropped that. Like, I don't know if they even did anything. So, I don't know. If you're just joining, my name's Joe. I have a channel called Radicalize Me on YouTube and Twitch. And we talk socialism, we talk politics. We've been talking a lot about the Gaza situation, Israel's genocide against Gaza. I'm saying all the words that will get me banned from TikTok. Gaza, genocide, ceasefire, Israel, Zionist. I think I'm backwards, but yeah, my shirt says my shirt is Karl Marx with sunglasses, and it says "Class dismissed." My wife got me this for my 35th birthday. I am old for TikTok, but I'm not alone. I think there's people of all ages here on the talk, and all the young people just left when I said that. But cool, yeah. Got some people watching, and feel free to chime in. I've got I've got stuff to say for sure, but I uh, would love to hear from all of you because that's what it's all about, right? Socialism is not just about me putting my little face up here. I like doing that too. I am I am an artist. I'm a musician and long time kind of content creator in various forms. So I've got the bug for you know attention seeking. But again, yeah, socialism's about everyone together. All right, so I want to hear from you in the chat, the chatteroonie. Let's hear it. All right, I'm gonna try going live on Facebook, and hopefully my I know Facebook's like so faux pas at this point, but like I uh I still use it, and like a lot of people I know use it, and again, maybe that's because I'm old, but uh, I find that on TikTok, like people are scrolling and they might come across my thing, and on Twitch, things will be recommended to people, but people I know, my family and friends, are highly unlikely to go to any of those places. So I think I can get some people's attention by going live on Facebook as well. And hopefully it doesn't explode my computer because I've got an old one, kind of old, and it's a Mac, and it's not prepared for live streaming at all. Let's see. Well, while I'm figuring that out, if you're just joining, my name is Joe. I have a channel called Radicalize Me on Twitch and YouTube, and I'm starting to do lives. I did a live stream a couple of weeks ago, and then I missed a week or two. This is my most likely time to do it, Sunday afternoon. I don't have a ton of time today, but yeah, that's just I'm trying to dip my toe into it. I know it's popular, so I do make videos on YouTube about socialism and pop culture and the intertwining of the two. So I do that as well, but it seems like live is kind of where it's at. TikTok's kind of where it's at, so that's what I'm doing now. But yeah, we've got there's news in of a ceasefire. Possibly, maybe, it was encouraging when the U.S. did not veto that. I don't want to fight Nathan Brown. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I love you and everyone else here. So. King of Llamas says, radicalize me. I am Cody Rhodes fan. Are you a Roman Reigns fan? I don't know what either of those are. I apologize. I encourage you to say more. But thanks for being here. Yeah, let me see. Let me pull up what's been happening. But yeah, the U.S. Abstained from a vote on the ceasefire in the UN Security Council, so that was encouraging. It passed, and then the U.S. was like, "Well, it's non-binding, and they don't have to do it." Like, okay, so it's just, there's the U.S. is just sabotaging it in like a different way now. It's really obnoxious. My country is shitty. Thoughts on St. Peter the First Popo? I mean, I assume that's a pope. I don't have many thoughts on St. Peter the First Popo. Popo is funny because that's what we used to call the police. The Popo. And misspell. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, that was just funny because we used to call that the police, the Popo, back in southwestern Connecticut where I grew up. We were pretty hard down there, and not really. Yeah, let's see what's happening because. Yeah, it's like such a nightmare. And even for the people of Israel, like obviously there was the initial attack from, not that everything started on October 7th, but I mean, whoever you are, it's going to be horrifying to have this attack happen. And now, it's been 6 months and they got a few hostages back, and then they stopped doing hostage transfers because it made Hamas look too good, because everyone coming out of it was like, yeah, I don't know, they were really nice. So I think Israel didn't like that and stopped letting people go. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know if you can see that or not on Twitch and YouTube. But Israeli hostages' mother says any demand of ceasefire without release of hostages is a death sentence. Uh, yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. Let's see. Orna Nutra, the mother of Israeli American hostage Omer Nutra, said on Sunday that bringing home the hostages should be included in every ceasefire demand, warning that an alternative would be a death sentence for them. Bringing the hostages back should be the top priority. Um, Everyone looking for de escalation in the region should be opening the sentence saying, release the hostages. Any demand of, yeah. So, yes, but this seems a little bit of the bad faith, like, well, release the hostages and then it'll, like, well, yeah, but no, I don't think you have to start with that. I think that if your priority is getting the hostages back, you should want to to have a ceasefire because you're not getting them back without a ceasefire. um, and the more the bombing goes on, the worse for the hostages. Like hostages are dying in bombings. They're getting shot by these, insane IDF soldiers. And they're starving, just like the rest of Gaza. It's crazy. But yeah, my point was with this that Israelis want a ceasefire, a lot of them, because they want the fucking hostages back, even if they don't give a shit about Palestinians, which, frankly, I think a lot of them don't. Not all of them, but I think that is a prevailing attitude based on polling and stuff. There are huge protests against Netanyahu right now because it, you know, even if you know nothing, it seems as though he's not trying to get hostages back. Um, and if even if you know a little bit, it's pretty clear to you that that was never his priority. That's never what he fucking wanted. Yeah, it's insane. I don't know, man. All right, and then we've got our brave American senators. Senator Chris Van Hollen says, "I'm not clear on White House policy towards Israel," because he started to criticize lightly the Biden administration, and yeah, but I love Americans do this shit. Like, oh, I don't understand. Like, well, why don't you look at what he said in the past, what the incentive structures are here, uh, you know, just the history of this conflict. Like, why are you not clear? Why do you not understand? Because you should. um, all right. Sorry, I guess TikTok can't hear this. Okay, so Chris Van Hollen is. Let me pause this. Chris Van Hollen is talking about. He's a senator in the U.S. He's talking about possibly conditioning aid to Israel. Now, this is a big deal because I guess we usually don't do that with, especially with Israel. We don't do it with Saudi Arabia, as far as I can tell, most of the time. You know, all this shit, all international law, and it's even U.S. law. Look up the Leahy law. this is all applied selectively. That's just how it goes. So she's asking, were you clear on what the White House position is? He says, I'm not clear. Right. So he's saying that. Uh, okay. So yeah, Biden apparently did like signal a possibility of conditioning aid to Netanyahu. Uh, we'll see. It's just insane. Like, I can't stand it with all these fucking this fucking bullshit with all the leaks coming out of Biden. You know, Biden called Netanyahu an asshole. Like he's so upset. I'm like, I don't give a shit, dude. Like, think I give a fuck what the president's feelings are? Like, do you have to fucking do a thing, and then they'll say like, I read somewhere that's like the rift is deepening between the United States. Yeah, yeah, they're sending more weapons despite the deepening rift between the U.S. and Israel. I'm like, what rift? You have to demonstrate that. That has to be like a rift is a material thing. Like, you don't have a rift with someone if you like are slightly miffed at each other for a few minutes. You have like a minor disagreement and like leave a conversation slightly upset. That's not a rift. Like, goddamn, a rift would be, oh yeah, we're conditioning aid. Like, we're continuing to do things that Israel doesn't approve of, and Israel's doing things the U.S. doesn't approve of, and it's changing that relationship. But the way they talk about it, it's just like, yeah, it's a rift. What? Huh? Um, it's so stupid, man. Um, yeah, I don't know. Uh, it's it's imperialism. Israel is an outpost for the U.S. It's an attack dog for the U.S. Now, it's a big problem that that attack dog has nukes. We don't really talk about that. We didn't talk about it at all for a while. Now it's kind of an open secret that Israel has nukes. And there is the theory, like from some reporting by Seymour Hersh, legendary investigative journalist. He claims that in the 70s there was some war that Israel was waging, and this was the Yom Kippur War, I believe. And the idea is that Israel used what's called nuclear blackmail, basically saying that if the Kendrick or Drake, Kendrick, absolutely. I will say I'm not super familiar with either of their work, but from what I know as a casual listener, Kendrick a million times, yes. um, but that was not Emmer in the chat. What was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah. So this was Seymour Hersh's ideas that I don't know what is going on in this chat, man. S. Pongas says, I'm 7'2" from Nigeria. Can I be your man? Well, I am not into men. I apologize, but we can, we can be friends. Uh, but yeah, the idea is that Israel threatens that if the U.S. cuts off aid, they will use nukes. Now it's unlikely, and this has been floated by even someone in the Israeli government, but by onlookers too, that like they would nuke Gaza. That's not going to happen because it's like right the border of Gaza and the rest of Israel is like imaginary. It's right there. There's no way that nuking Gaza wouldn't destroy parts of Israel and create nuclear fallout in Israel. But other places, I mean, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, all these other places that Israel wants control of, sure, maybe. But so I don't know. I think this is kind of unconfirmed. But there's a book called The Samson Option that a this chat is wild. This last time, actually, we got some socialists in here. Maybe you guys are socialists. I don't know, but you've got interesting stuff to say. Do you like cheeseburgers? I do. I am almost entirely vegan. I do eat eggs sometimes, but I very rarely eat dairy. But you did spell it with a Z, which in a lot of cases is what the vegan cheese replacements will use. They'll be like vegan cheese. So maybe I do get a gluten-free bun because I'm celiac, and then give me a Beyond Burger and some vegan cheese. I like cheeseburger. Cootie Pooper 666, aka Fat Slut, says, "You look tall for a chick." I probably would be tall for a chick if I were one. Yeah, I'm 5'9", 5'10". That's pretty tall if you're a woman. Austin is gone. Sorry, Austin. We don't say that stuff here. So yeah, now we were on Gaza. Now we're talking about vegan cheese. That's cool. Do I look particularly girly today? Is that what's happening? I do have quite a bit of stubble, guys. Jack Bills asks, "Do you have a BF?" I assume you mean boyfriend. I do not. I have a wife. Sorry. Sorry to disappoint. Maybe. You're an interesting bunch, chat. I gotta say. Nothing wrong with that. I love you anyway. I cannot figure out how to go live on Facebook. This might be a lost cause. But anyway, thanks for those of you watching. Really appreciate it. I've got about 20 minutes before I have to get off here. So yeah, I mean, keep hitting me up in chat, especially if you have thoughts on socialism and Israel and Palestine. But you know, if you want to talk about vegan cheese and cheeseburger, we can do that too. We can do whatever. Um, let's see. Whoops. Whoops. Welcome, Ash and Sprung and D's six nuts. You guys are great. Um, yeah. So yeah, the ceasefire conversation is moving forward. I do think it's very interesting that you know a lot of U.S. allies are starting to speak in support of it. They're starting to cut off their own aid to Israel. Um, it's That's a big deal. Like I don't know how young people are, but like uh, even in my lifetime, and again, I say I'm old. I'm not that old, but like yeah, in 20 years of being 25 years of being kind of aware of this Israel situation and learning a lot more in the last few years, I have seen a huge change. Um, M. Calb says, Obama 2024, tell Biden to sniff my kids later. Tell Pelosi to insider trade more. This might come as a surprise. I shouldn't, but I don't like Biden or Pelosi or Obama. I'm not sure where the Obama is coming from. But I am a Marxist. And, you know, someone like yourself, M. Calvin, I don't want to assume too much about you, but someone who maybe is more on the right wing will often say uh, that the Democrats are communists or socialists, which is so absurd. Um, but just so you know, I hate these people, and I'm never going to vote for them again. I was a Democrat, I'll give you that, but not anymore. I'm now with the Workers' Party of Massachusetts. Obama 2024, tell USA Obama runs this, we all know. I do think Obama, pulls a lot of strings behind the scenes. Like he, in 2020, as much as he was not a big fan of Biden as a candidate, but when it became clear that Biden was the favorite establishment candidate, and they had to take down Bernie and Warren, who would have done mild social democratic reforms to the extent they even could. It was Obama, who encouraged all the other candidates to drop out. So sure, yeah, Obama pulls a lot of strings. Midic 00006 says, "Do you like to bake sourdough or dildo?" Now I see it. Yep, I hear it. But I do like, yeah, I'm okay with baking. I don't love cooking of any kind, really. Really, I've had to cook for myself for a very long time. Like even in college, I had to because I have food allergies and shit. Um, but yeah, um, but yeah, so I got really sick of cooking. But anyway, if by bake you meant weed, sure, I'm fine with that. I don't smoke a lot, but I do take edibles every day. So, welcome, Country Strang. Stang. Why do I believe love comes and goes? Now that's a deep question. I can talk about socialism all day, but that's a tough one. Let's see. So, love is a when it first sets in is like a super intense emotion. It's a super intense experience, right? So sometimes when that initial like explosion wears off, it's very easy to say like, well, I guess I don't want this anymore because I don't feel like insane and you know wildly attached to this person anymore. But love is a couple of things I go by is love is a it's a choice. So you decide every day to keep loving someone, and B it's a verb, right? That's a John Mayer song. Don't leave. I just happen to know this John Mayer song where he says, "Love ain't a thing. Love is a verb," right? So it's not about just like it's a feeling. I feel it. No, it's about actions. It's about a choice you make every day, and it's about actions you take every day. So yeah, it comes and goes for that reason that I think people don't always realize that. It takes time to learn that. But also, it's just complicated. People grow and change, and they want different things. You know, if you find even if you're very much in love with someone and you find that you don't want the same things, whether it's kids or like where you want to live or what kind of lifestyle you want to live, like a lot of that can mess it up. I don't know. Um, and people's flaws get in the way. This is oh thanks for following bang cosmic sorry. um from my own experience, I mean it's people have issues, people have deep flaws and stuff, and it goes for me as well as my past partners, where we were not like we hadn't worked on ourselves that much, if that makes sense. A lot of people can benefit from therapy. A lot of people don't take care of themselves, especially when you're like in your 20s and you think you can just do anything and like whatever, drink a lot and not sleep enough and smoke weed all day and you think that you can still like live life and be normal that way, but you can't. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. Like it just takes a while for people to become who they are and get a hold on themselves, like gain some control over what what like their strengths and weaknesses are, and what they have to offer somebody else. So I don't know. Yeah, that's what I think from my experience. That's how a lot of my relationships went. Is that I think myself and my partners were needed work. We just needed to work on ourselves, and we hadn't. Yeah. Financially too. That's always hard. Um, just yeah, not having stable finances is never easy, no matter who you are. All right. Got about 10 minutes before I gotta get going. Um, so yeah, I'm uh, unfortunately, I guess you could say pessimistic about Gaza. Um, but it's more about just having a handle on uh, history and pattern. Not that I'm like I'm not a history expert, but like knowing the history of this, the history of class struggle, the history of um, capitalist imperialism. Um, I just don't see like any kind of wonderful thing coming out of this. Um, oh, Bang Cosmic again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. How do you motivate yourself to move on? Um, yeah, that's tough. I think you gotta like take the time you need uh, to not be motivated and to not move on. Um, that that feeling is just something you gotta sit with and work through. Um, but when it comes time to move on, move forward with your life, uh, I think I don't know, keeping busy, just finding things that you know satisfy you separate from this relationship you had. Um, because yeah, the change of environment, um, and change of kind of goals and whatever can help, because if you feel like if you I don't know, if nothing else about your life changes, then it feels very much like you should it's going to be hard to separate your life from this other person. Um so yeah, I think you got to do what you got to do to just like find your own space. Like I don't know. I'll give an example. I used to be a stand-up comedian. Um, I haven't done it in years now. It was early 2020 when I first did it, and then it went away because of the lockdowns, and I have never really felt comfortable like being indoors unmasked and stuff since then. So like I just didn't do it, and I found that I didn't miss it too much. That's a whole other story, but like it takes a lot out of you. But anyway, so I when I lived in Philly, I was working at maybe I shouldn't have been so specific. Well, it was Philly, and I was working at a comedy club. I'm not going to say which one. I was, uh, I was doing like stand up there when they let me, but I started working there as an usher and like a ticket taker, which, you know, helped. They put me on stage more because of that, which was cool. And so the summer that I broke up with my ex, I think we broke up in like May. And then that summer, I was working at the comedy club, and I was living at my friend's place because he was out of town for most of the summer, and he had this like killer place downtown, and it was like a couple blocks away from this comedy club. And so I lived in this place that was like way out of my price range, and I was just doing whatever I wanted during the day. Um, but then at night, I was working at the comedy club and I was partying with my coworkers from the comedy club, um, and going kind of hog wild for the first time in my life. Um, I I never was like a big partier. I've had my moments, but like that was a moment when I really went hard. Uh, yeah, I mean like seriously like club it, like going to fucking clubs and like you know where it's like deafeningly loud and you can't see anything and it's like um and yeah, just drinking a lot. They would pour such like intense drinks at the comedy club I worked at, especially for employees. Uh, not during work usually, but as soon as we were done, we all go to the bar, and I I was drinking a lot of like vodka sodas or like gin and sodas. I have celiac. Give me a break, all right? Whiskey gives me a headache, regardless, and I can't have beer, so like don't fucking judge me. But I was yeah, vodka sodas or like gin and sodas, and the dude would like put some ice in it. Usually they like fill the whole thing with ice. You know how they do that at bars. He wouldn't fill the whole thing with ice for me, and he would pour the gin or vodka, and often bartenders will pour both together, so you get kind of or this is the soda part, I guess. So you get kind of an even mix. That's not how they did it. They he would pour the vodka, pour the vodka, pour the vodka, pour the vodka. Give me a spritz of soda at the top. So I was drinking fucking like of pint glasses of vodka with a little ice and soda. All this to say, I don't like recommend that particular behavior, but like I just did like I immersed myself in something that uh gave me a different environment and different lifestyle. I just started like living differently from how I was when I was with my partner, and that was really helpful. I think like I found that it distracted me. I was uh, kind of a mess still. It wasn't perfect, but like spending that time to like separate myself from it really helped, and actually met my wife at the end of that year. So you never know. Um, and I thank you for your questions, man. Bang Cosmic. Uh, oh, that's so nice. I'm glad uh, I've been inspirational, and I'm happy to help. Uh, I was actually back then doing a podcast about breakups. That was another thing I did because I was, going crazy. But that, yeah, I was just thinking like this is not what I expected to be doing is giving relationship advice, but I'm happy to do it, and I have kind of done it before, so yeah, it did work out well. She's in the next room, and yeah. So, Bang Cosmic, thank you so much for sticking around. It's been a lot of you in and out of here, and that's fine too. I appreciate the interactions. No, I don't think I have. I don't think I have it. Yeah.